Until death do us part, a wedding vow that isn't waited upon with bated breath by anyone. But when life hands you those cards, you gather the strength to pick yourself up and keep going. But what if the family that you married into ensure that you and your children lose everything? What do you do and where do you turn? Let's start the show and find out how. Welcome to Unscripted with me, Grace Salame, filming right here at Grammar Suites. Welcome to Unscripted. Let's begin the conversation. I had mentioned earlier, Terry, thank you for coming to the show.
Asante.
You're absolutely welcome. You have quite a story to share, and on this show, it's just about breaking the culture of silence. Everyone has a point in their lives where the unknown happens, and because life is unscripted. So for you, let's begin with, who is Terry? What are you about? What do you love? Introduce yourself to people at home.
My name is Terry Bundi.
Okay.
I'm blessed with 4 children. The firstborn is 18, turning 18.
Okay.
Then there's a 17. Then I have 10. He just turned 10 on 1st of November.
Okay.
And then I have Tiffany, who's 4 years.
First of all, you look nothing like someone with 4 children and so big. Good job. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank God.
You thank God?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that journey. Family, marriage, motherhood. I'd alluded earlier why we're having this conversation, so you could take us through, even you mentioned earlier you got married at a young age. So tell us about that, when that started for you.
Okay, I got married way back.
Yeah.
Almost
Way back?
Yeah,
You're
way
still
back.
very
I just
young.
finished high school, so a few months later I met my husband.
Okay.
And then I think he was the kind of guy who I think was just ready for marriage.
Oh, really?
I don't think I was.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I was. But at the same time, we just met. Some few months later, I was pregnant.
Okay.
And that happened, and then we got married. He just came out and said, you know what, me, I'm marrying you straight up. It wasn't something like it was,
There was
you know.
no playing games or
So,
wasting
yeah,
time.
and for me, I was like, okay, I even took it like a joke. I thought, really? Who
Yeah.
does that, you know? But that happened.
Yeah.
And from that time till his passing, we were just married.
16 years of marriage.
16 years of marriage.
Is a long time.
It is.
You can even start there. How do you keep that alive for 16 years?
For me and him, it wasn't like husband-wife kind of relationship.
What was
That's
it?
the weird thing.
Yeah.
We were just buddies. We were just friends. You know those friends that, like a friend, you know, the one you tell anything and everything,
yeah.
gossip about somebody else with, you know.
Yeah.
Do those stuff that, friends do. That is who he was.
I see.
And then I think with him, he really was ready for marriage. And when we met, I don't think it's the age difference because he was a bit older than me.
Got it.
But I just think it's like he was just that good, nice guy. We had our ups and downs, eh? We had our thing, we will argue. But Wale, he comes in and just says sorry, even when, you've done wrong, he just comes down the storm,
Yeah.
And then he was just a calm kind of a guy, He was, even to my kids, he was more of a buddy, By the time you tell this is the dad, you're just wondering, okay, which is the dad? He's more of a child,
parent
who is And I think that is the best thing about him. And I think that's the reason why our marriage lasted. He used to lead me in so many things.
Really?
He used to he will tell me what to do, then, show me how to do it, then give me the security on it,
Yeah.
And then he was just that guy, that friend you just want to be with all the time.
So if you could take us back to when that changed and that devastating moment when you lost him. What happened?
I think, okay, when I lost him, I think I just lost myself also.
But what happened? What happened
Because he just had some, over the night he had some funny headache and he would complain about it. But I think I didn't take it seriously, neither did he. Because at this point, men, I'm going to say this, but men tend to think they can stay strong.
I know.
Until it hits the jackpot and you are thinking,
So
when
true.
does this hit,
Yeah.
So for him, he felt,
So he was complaining for a while, for some time?
for overnight. Actually,
Oh, just
the night
overnight.
is what, it was really an impact. on and off, you know, he will have that headache, but it wasn't that serious. Okay, so like the way I will just tell you, no, Mona Kicho, you know, I'm just having that headache.
Yes.
And then apparently maybe I assume I'll take a painkiller and I'm good to go. But with him, he had that, but the overnight was like too much, you know, and he was sweating a lot. So he just said, you know what, I am not feeling well, but I can go, I think in the morning, I'll see what will happen, and then I'll go get checked. Okay. So with that, I think in the morning when he went to drop the kids, something happened. I believe something happened, or he felt something.
Why? What happened that day?
Because he rushed himself to the hospital. I don't know what happened, because when they received him, a few minutes later, they pronounced him dead. So he must have felt something.
So what was it that?
Because they said he died of cardiac arrest, so that's heart attack. But he must have felt something in between, because even the way he bumped over the pavement at the hospital wasn't usual. Something happened.
Did you do a postmortem to find out?
Yes, that's the reason they gave us. It's a cardiac arrest.
Cardiac arrest. Okay.
Yeah.
That they couldn't point to anything that was.
Because
how old was he?
He's 46.
Imagine, still young.
Yeah, but they said his chest congested, so I don't know, that played part on now, him just passing off, but that's what they gave us an explanation.
So as Terry, how did you handle that? Taking that news when it happens and grieving, and also you have 4 children, how did that take a toll on you?
To me, I didn't know how to deal with it, because I think I wasn't ready for such a move, such a change. Yeah. It just took me down. I just know for a bit of my 2 years from his passing, I can't record about myself much, because I really went through a lot. But I think when I can talk about now, I think I'm still growing in it. It's never going to be the same. You never get to be past that, because when I lost him, I think I lost myself. I lost myself so completely, to an extent. Honestly, I can't tell you. Those 2 years, I was pregnant when my husband passed away.
So before the last born.
Yeah, my last
before
born.
you had your last born,
passed. I was 8 months actually pregnant. So I think if I can't even record my 2 years with her, that means I can't. I wasn't myself. It's something that took me out, you know, for a while. I'm still trying to adjust to all this, because it's such a big deal, you know.
I know.
And then I wasn't used of parenting alone. You know, this is a guy who will talk every day. Literally, let me tell you about him. In a funny way. Yeah. He would leave the house. Yeah. Surely, who does that?
What do you mean?
He's
what
in traffic, and then he's texting and calling. Then I'm asking him, how many minutes? Are you serious? How far are you? And I'm just in. He gets in the office. He does the same. By the time he's coming back home, you have no conversation. Now you're looking for one, because I think you've exhausted the whole. Yes.
And this happened all through your marriage.
Yeah, and he was just like he was that guy. You know, he was just that guy. And that was his character. It's not the guy that is acting out then to change later. No. And the time he will not text, imagine it's going to affect me. Because it's odd. Okay,
like,
something
I was used to this.
What's
right. happening?
Like that morning, I was like, wait a minute. Because when he texted, I think they were on traffic. And then my husband used to have this thing. If they were in a rush and the kids don't get to pray when they leave, they'll pray when they are, you know, in the traffic and before they get there.
I do the same with my kids. I like that.
So he, you know, as he's driving, when they're, you know, they pray. Good. So he must have dialed, because I could hear them praying. So I disconnected, because I'm like, okay, these ones are praying. So either it was by mistake. Yeah. But then later on he called, and then just as usual, he's who he is, you know, and we talked.
So when was the last time you spoke to him?
Just on his way to school. Okay. And then from there, funny enough, okay, for me, when I'm pregnant, I get to think or feel my morning is very crucial. That's when I want to sleep.
I see. So you didn't want to wake you or anything?
So when he left, I was like, so I just knew, because he wasn't dressed to, like, you know, go to work. So I just knew, he's going to go and then come back. And then kutoka hapo tunaweza ongea. But his chatting is as normal as the way it is. So he had to call, you know, that thing, and we just talked. Na tukamalizana the kawa thing, and so he went. From there we didn't talk much, but I started feeling crazy and not for any reason, just because I'm thinking something has happened. Just the fact that he hasn't texted or called. To me, that's when this guy has not, like. But again, funny enough, the same time I just slept. Like, I cannot. At times I even wonder why that day. Like, I just slept. And a very peaceful sleep, like that calm sleep. Nice one. I don't want interruption. Don't call me. Don't wake me. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. That one.
In one way, God was protecting you.
Somehow it just came, pop, and I slept. A very nice sleep, a good one.
What's been your darkest moment or the hardest part in all of it?
Being alone. I couldn't handle being alone. From the very beginning, I was never alone with the children. I've never parented alone. I've never been alone. I don't even remember when I decided to go buy a packet of flour alone.
No way.
I'm telling you, 90%, even the things I will not want to mention here.
He would shop everything for you.
He will shop. Mbaka, they will call me and ask me, okay, we just want to confirm something was left here and we were not sure of size, and your husband said, but again, we want to confirm if it's your husband. Please kindly, because even they're embarrassed to even know it's, I'm sorry, but I'll have to say it, that was my husband.
He treated you well.
So I never knew how to shop anything, absolutely, name it, alone. And now here I am, alone, with everything looking. I just couldn't deal.
On Terry. Yeah.
I couldn't deal. I just felt this is a joke. This is a life from hell. This is just something that is not even fair to anybody. I can't.
And on that note, we'll be right back with more from Terry. Stay tuned. And special thanks to Grammar Suits for hosting us. Terry, thank you for just being so honest and brave to share your experience with us. And again, we're sorry for your loss, and we pray and hope that as the years go by, there is restoration and strength to you and the kids.
Yeah.
And speaking of the kids, you mentioned when your husband passed, he had just dropped them to school. So if you could take us through, how did you even break the news to them? How did they take it? And how has it been? How have you changed as a parent now with what you've gone through?
When my husband got to Aga Khan, that was one of the guys at the casualties who we are friends with.
I see.
So he was actually in. So when they received him, he's called Monene. So when they received him,
he knew exactly who it was.
Yeah, and he made sure he delayed the process, because I used to go there for clinic, or rather was going there for clinic. Okay. So Monene took the phone. Actually, what my husband does, where he was working, that's how they connected. So he knew my husband's friend, very best friend. He's called Lincoln. So he called him and told him, rush to Aga Khan, we need you here. Something has just happened. So he got himself there. So when they got there, they received the news. They called my big brother.
Okay. So no one called you first?
Nobody called me first, but when Lincoln called, he called one of my friends. So apparently, she's a neighbor at Garden Estate. So she came. When she came, okay, she does come to my house, but she's a bit busy for me to have seen her do that. I'm like, okay. But at that point, I could not even just add up. So she came, she had a reason to come, and then she just like, and then she had made sure my house helps have taken my phones, disconnected the house, everything, all the contacts. So she comes in, she tells me, I see you take me somewhere, there's something urgent. I'm like, okay, why? Because I need an approval. I love interior. So at this point, I think she just needed something to just drive me out.
Get you out of the house.
So I was like, okay, I don't mind. So let me just do a shower. And he asked me, no, it's just put on your tracks. You don't need to shower. I'm like, really? And she like, do not do anything beyond here. Like, dress up, let's go. So I'm like, okay, let me just brush my teeth. Let me just do some little things. Because again, it wasn't far. And then I come back, shower, and then rest. So I started looking for my phones, and because she had known what she did, she made sure, by the time, let's just rush out. I have my phone, so yeah, if there's anything, they'll get the phone, then what I care. So I'm like, and somehow I'm flowing with everything.
You're not feeling there's anything strange
I'm just flowing, weirdly. I always ask myself, could I have, those things you ask, but
That's
So
how it
I
happened.
went along with
Yeah.
the whole thing. We went, came back. At this point now she was on phone like 247, so she was doing some background, arrangements and everything. So by the time I got in, funny enough, I saw an ambulance
At the hospital.
in my compound.
Oh, really?
So I was like, like, what is happening here now? By the time I get there, I saw some familiar faces from church.
Outside your house?
Just in the compound. Okay, there's a friend of mine who lives in our apartment, so she's again from our church. So yeah, at that point,
So they're
maybe
actually
she could have.
quickly mobilizing people?
Actually, I think
you.
we went out for like 2 hours, but the impact of what she was doing was just, The thing was, I get home, I get to be injected, like a knockout pill, knockout injection.
Before
then,
telling you anything?
Yes. Then I get to hospital when I'm under supervision, and then they tell me, and that's what happened.
I see. Also because you're pregnant, they didn't want
I think that's
to...
the thing, because I was pregnant, and they didn't understand how I will react, knowing us. They did not understand how this girl will react. So I did that. I got home first, and I asked, hey, it's weird. Are you seeing the way, Kweli, what's happening? So I was thinking I go to my friend's house, the one we go to the same church, and ask her, Kweli, what's there? But then she told me, just go home to the Tukanyumba. You get home, then I need to talk to you. So what is it, Aksama? There's something we need to talk, but we need to go to the house. Kindly just don't stop anywhere. Let's go home. I started walking up to my stairs, and I'm like, I can't walk. So then I asked her, is there anything wrong? Aksama, not really. Let's just go. So by the time I get to my door, my house help, one of my house helps open, and her eyes were soaking done. Like she's done it all, she's cried all she can. So I got in, and the first person I saw is a best friend of my best couple actually. And then I'm like,
and at this whole time you don't want
no,
to
it hit me.
He's never come. He's not come home.
Now I'm expecting to see my husband. But now it hit me, something here is not right.
Yeah.
But that was the last person I could have
to hear.
So I was waiting to see him so that he can actually receive me and now
tell
tell
you what's
me.
wrong.
Because I think I would have been strong enough. Because actually the reason why I even stayed strong, I think, is because I knew the next person I'm seeing, it's him. So it's okay. As long as I see him, I'm good. So let me stay strong. So by the time I'm getting there, I started saying, I need my husband. Where's my husband? Where's Shadrach? Where's Shadrach? So I kept screaming his name. And my friend said, oh, he's coming. Just give him something, he's coming. I said, fine, I need him now. Whatever it is you need to tell me, you will not tell me without my husband here. So please, I need my husband. And so they took me to the room and they laid me down and they told me, okay, fine. And one of our friends said, like, dialing my husband number and like, he's just right, he's coming. So can you relax? And I kind of felt now he's coming, so I'm good. And then when I asked of him, I asked my big brother. Those are the two men in my life that I've not been raised by my dad. So my brother has raised me, so he's like a father to me. So I said, I need, he's called Gadago, so I said, I want Gadago now, and I want my husband now. So the person who got in
to tell you
was my brother. So I told him, where's Akasama? And this I called Shedi, Anapanda. Gari anapanda.
So no one.
So at this point, I was like, I will just let him come in, let him come, and then anything else, I'm good. And then ask, is my mom okay? Yeah, mother's in the sitting room. So my kids come in. They were picked early, so they come in.
Have they been told?
No. So they get to their room, and everybody walks into the room, and the door closes, and now other women enter in my room. Now I'm in my room, they're in their room, but you can see across. And then I sat there, and then I asked my brother one more time, if you sit on my bed without my husband next to you, unfortunately I will not handle it. You know me so well, so if you want to give me any news, I will ask you one more time, where is my husband? Then he tells me, he calls me Wambui. Then he tells me, Wambui, breathe. I need you to breathe because hakuna mahali Shedi ameenda, because as far as I'm concerned, where will Shedi go? Can Shedi leave you? So why are you not relaxing? Can you relax? Because you are pregnant. See, I'm here. If I'm here, see, you know me, yes, you know her. So I'm good.
So at what point did they break the news to you on the case?
So when I sat there, them, they already broke the other side, so my kids already know. I'm the only one who doesn't know. But at this point, my kids now, I want to believe they were crying and everything, but they have been told not to come to me. At that point, they were told not to come to me until I am ready to receive the news. So this doctor comes in. And then I wonder, what the hell are you doing? Do not come here if my husband is not here. And then my brother tells me, can you breathe? Right now, Shady has just said he will not come up until you are calm, until you are easy. So right now, this guy you're seeing here is going to do something for you to relax. Once you relax, we tell you, and then he comes in. Are you okay? Are we on agreement? I went agreeing because I wanted him to come. So right at that moment, I'm seeing so many people, so I want to agree. Can we agree on this thing until my husband comes in? Then they inject me. And then I just started, I think I was crying and I was shaking and I was just there. And then I didn't know what happened. All of a sudden, I'm trolled out of the house, into the ambulance, to Nairobi Hospital.
Without being told anything?
Without being told anything. And then I get there. I am not feeling myself. I cannot breathe. I'm seeing things that I can't see. I laid down until 2. Almost, I think, 2 past midnight.
The next day?
The next day at night is when now most of my friends, everybody I knew, that is everybody, anyone, my children, everybody was in that room. And that is when my brother sat there and told me, you know what, Terry, I need to tell you something, and I need you to be strong enough to, because we're already here. So I need to tell you one thing, and right now I'm going to tell you, you've been asking for Shady, and apparently I'll take you to him, but he can't come to you. Because apparently yesterday, at this point, at this time, this happened.
How did you
and I don't know what they gave me, because I can't even recall what happened, I can't. But I remember at 8 in the morning, when now I could feel myself, and I could feel now I'm me.
What thoughts ran through your mind?
That's when now the doctor came. A few stayed in, and my brother was in, and they asked me, do you remember what we told you yesterday? Do you remember the discussion we had? And I told them, apparently somebody told me my husband can't come for me. I can only go to him, that he's not feeling well. So can I go to my husband?
So you still didn't understand what he meant?
I still didn't understand. And that's when the doctor again repeated the whole thing. They repeated the whole thing. And I tell you the truth, I don't know. I don't even know how. I don't even know what feelings. I don't know.
It's fine. I have some tissue here. Here you go. Take your time. It's hard to describe that moment.
So they repeated the whole thing again, over and over and over, and anger wasn't even it. I was so heartbroken. I just felt like God has just done me wrong, I just felt so sick, not my body.
Your heart.
I felt sick, like. And I think my biggest part is I didn't believe it. I just kept telling my brother, why would you lie to me in such a thing? Why would you bring me here and lie to me about,
Yeah. How did your children take it?
I tried. I have been trying this far. But when they saw their father, I think they broke. Part of them was taken from them.
Sorry.
At times, I don't know if still we are back. It kills me sometimes because they still, ask over and over.
They still ask?
They still ask. They still want answers. They still feel like, sometimes they say, could have doctors that done something? Could we have done? We have all these questions, but
I'm sorry.
When we saw him, and now you're seeing someone that you only can talk to but can't talk back, you know? I think for a minute I just felt like, I mean, if you're gonna take us all, you know, just clear this mess plate, you know, take it.
You didn't want to be here.
I felt take us all, like, you know, I didn't know what I will do. I didn't know how I would breathe. I didn't even know how I will walk from there onwards. I didn't know how I even got home. I don't even know how I don't even remember. Still do counseling.
Good.
And it has helped, let me say that, because it has made us accept. The church has been so supportive. They take us through it every day. It's never, but I think it's a journey. It is a journey, and because we heal individually, like every child has to heal, then we heal as a family.
Yeah.
But right now we are healing individually so far. But we've started the process where counseling, we're doing it now as a family. The one thing I know, and the one thing I'm sure of, that He is merciful.
Amen.
For me to be able to even handle my children, for me to be able even to accept and start feeling enough strength to move to the next level, it has not been easy. To either of my children, the only one person that they know Him is the little one. And can you imagine, he still asks for Him with no knowledge. He will, because he will see photos, he will hear stories, and she will ask.
Because she never met him.
She never met him, but she will ask, is Daddy coming? Mommy, can I see Daddy? And all those things. But at times we sit as a family and we cry. Because this is the one person that I had so much with, that even the fact that he's not going to be there was too much, you know. And we move each day. We heal on our own way. I find my ways, you know, because it's just a process. It is the process.
I feel like I'm too far away. I'm sorry, Terry. I'm sorry. And I think we should take a short break. We'll be right back with more of this conversation. Do stay tuned. And just remember, whoever you are, just be kind to each other and say a prayer for a neighbor and stay tuned. Come back. And wherever you are, just send love to Terry and your beautiful children. I can't imagine what this must be like. And unfortunately, I don't know if I can say it got worse or you just didn't get support from the people you're supposed to get support. You know, when they say when you get married, it's not just two people coming together, it's families coming together. But for you, your in-laws didn't treat you and the kids well. What happened?
When my husband died, I think for them, I don't know how they felt to act on all this, but they just didn't receive, the way you will expect, you know, because I belong to that family. There's no way my family will have been the one, you know, on the ground doing the things that they actually ended up doing. So when my husband died, they came in and it wasn't a positive look because they decided taking things from us. We had to, like, in a few months shift, you know, move to a different life. They took the cars, you know, handed over some title deeds because at that moment I was doing all this. I thought it was the arrangements of now the next step that is coming.
Did he have a will?
He didn't have a will. He didn't have a will. So when I just lied, you know, and that's the family I was meant to go to in this situation. So they came in, they will ask for things and I will give them because I thought they're arranging something after this storm, we see the way forward.
Exactly.
But that wasn't the case. So to them, they were just grabbing things and you know, they even wanted to come for the household properties, you know, and it was just bad. And that moment, I had to go to court,
Wow.
And
It got
again,
ugly.
It was just ugly. By the time I realized what they were doing, it was a bit long because again, I was also not okay.
Yeah. And you had a baby.
And I had a baby.
Yeah.
So I was advised to go to court and I'll sue them for the things back, And that was the case now for me. And
I'm so sorry.
I proceeded on the court case. I went on, we had a few hearings here and there. The court case proceeded on. And it went on and on and on until last year when I withdrew the case because I felt that was too much pressure.
Need it. Yeah.
I just need to breathe. I realize this is my husband. I have his story. I carry his story. So these are the things.
Yeah.
It's just too much and it's just property. And at the end of the day, it's the truth. It doesn't belong to them. So if they need the case or fight for it, let them do it. So I withdrew mine and I just felt I needed to breathe. It was too much pressure. Because every time you'll go for a hearing, you're hoping that's the day the case will be, or at least because these children were eating, these children were going to school. Life had to move on as much as it was hard. So again, from that to fighting in court for properties, I didn't have that strength. I didn't have that strength.
And how did you deal with that betrayal? Because was there any bad blood during the marriage, 16 years together?
It was, we had our own issues of life because they're the kind of in-laws who, when you're married to their son, you have to, it's like all of them are your husbands. And it's like they come for you, like, they also have a share in your life, they have a say in your life. And for me, those are the things I was disagreeing with. And my husband also fought so much to just keep us safe. And,
Until he left is when you saw the true colors.
Exactly.
In such situations, we look to man for assistance, yet God is there all along.
Yeah.
And he's a jealous God.
He is.
So now he's finally on the throne and the one taking control, and that's very powerful for you to get to that point.
Yeah.
So in this season now, what is giving you joy?
Taking care of my children. I think now I'm parenting.
That's turned around. Good.
Let me tell you, at times I tend to, I was a bad cop, he was a good cop.
Yes, you mentioned.
So you can imagine, for me to do both.
You're trying to find the balance.
I try to find. But then once I go to my room, I'm like, let me deal with it. Then I need to be that kind of a face and this kind of a face,
Yeah.
And then I come out and I try. Because sometimes when I need to be so serious, I laugh. And then I get annoyed. Like, can I? But what happens is the grace is there.
Amen.
And somehow every day is a different day. And with God is a different blessing, is a different teaching, is a different uplift, And he equipped you. Something funny, we assume that we are not able to do this because this has happened. Yeah. I'm going to shock you, it's 4 years. But I can say God has done it for me.
Amen.
I'm dealing with teens. I have a baby. I have this 10-year-old in the middle, or at that stage,
And a small toddler.
And everybody wants their own attention.
Of course.
And you have to be there, and you have to play the both good and bad cop.
So how are you handling that and juggling? There's some tips you gave me, I think single parents at home should hear.
What I decided in my spirit to do is I couldn't be there for everybody because I also need me to heal. And it's taking each day as it comes. Yeah. And I also don't want to feel like I am abandoning my children. So I did this program where we drafted something down, and I have each day, I have at least an hour, depending an hour or two, with each child.
Good job.
Then we talk about that. Me and, if it's my son, I talk about my son tells me this, I tell him this. We talk. Anything about school, anything about home, what the sister did or didn't do, So we talk about it. So I get to learn about him. Then I sit down with Tiffany, tells me about the whole day, the whole thing. She wants this, she wants that, she's not happy, this one, this, And so I deal with Tiffany. Yeah. Then I go to Abigail, who's my firstborn, then I go to Deborah. And then I also have where now we sit all of us and we all equal everything out on the table. And we discuss it. And then we have also a family day where it's on a Friday, we watch a movie and all that. We also have prayer days where we pray, read the Bible, have our studies. Amen. So this way it helps me. So I'm able to also pick up, and also
what's going on in their lives.
Exactly. And I try so hard as I can to be there, especially for my teens, because in this place, it's important to just be there. Yeah. And in the funny thing, I get involved. Whether it's in school, in the activities, I'm always there.
Good.
So that I follow up.
I support that 100%.
If it is a church, I'm always
Yes.
there. You know, I follow up. If it's their friends, I follow up. If they want to go somewhere, I find myself just going there, appearing and non-appearing. Not because I want to really, you know, but in those moments, that's the only time you can be involved, because mostly you might find yourself you're away.
Yeah.
At times people look at me and ask me how, and I tell them, him can explain that. Because even me, I am just flowing into what he's saying and just going according to his words, because his words are yes and amen.
Yes, and amen.
Let's just love Jesus. Let us just wait on God. We go through this pain. This pain is not an easy pain. The only person who can make you just feel calm is Jesus.
Amen.
Yeah.
I find that. It's amazing how we ended the show with so much hope and inspiration from you. Thank you for allowing God to use you even through this.
Yes.
You've spoken to me. I'm sure there's someone at home needed to hear this. So thank you. Thank you, Terry. And thank you so much for watching at home. Our details are right below if you want to contact us. We appreciate your viewership. And like I said before, let's be kind to everyone. You never know what someone is going through. Just show love each time. Have yourselves a wonderful week. Goodbye and God bless. And of course, special thanks to Grandma Sweets for hosting us. Bye, guys.